Hi, my name is Emily. I'm from Salatiga House Church, and today I would like to share with you my journey of faith so far. When I started preschool, my mum made some Christian friends who had enrolled their children at a primary Catholic school. So my siblings and I were baptized to be able to attend as well. During that time, my mum also started attending church and would bring the whole family along with her. I can't really say that I had much faith in God as a child, since I couldn't understand nor grasp the concept. I simply followed along and knew of an existence named God, but that was the extent of it. Years went by and my connections with God slowly disappeared. My parents got divorced, so I stopped attending Catholic school and still went to church, but that was only because it was legal for my mum to leave me alone at home. Or so that's what she told us to get us to go to church. Once we became old enough to stay at home, my siblings and I jumped at the opportunity to sleep in on Sundays and stop attending church. I did attend scripture at my new primary school, but that has stopped once I had I had started high school, and the activities that connected me to God ceased. I eventually got into the habit of only turning to God when I needed something and treated him like Santa or a genie. I was very immature and would be disappointed with him and blame him when my prayers weren't answered. Yet I put in no effort to achieve my goals, and I didn't put my faith in him, nor did I devote myself to him. In year 12, I was particularly stressed and kept making more demands to God, trying to get the easy way out of my problems. Once I graduated, I had a day when I had a moment to myself and reflected on my behavior and was disgusted with how I had behaved, and gave myself two options. One, to properly believe in God and devote myself to him, or two, to stop bothering him with my problems. Since I had little faith at the time, I chose the second option. Though I do wonder how my life would have turned out had I chosen the first option, sometimes I don't regret my choice. Because I had no one else to blame my mistakes or my unfavorable situations on, I had a growth period where I learned to accept and deal with my consequences of the consequences of my actions. And I felt it was something that I needed to learn in order to grow up in my life. Things like if I got bad grades, I wasn't due to God not wanting me to succeed in life, but simply because I was lazy. After 6 or 7 years had passed by, I still hadn't turned to God for help, but he didn't give up on me. I applied to a few tutoring jobs without any prior experience, all of which ignored my emails except for one place. I started working as a tutor, and then several months later, I met my shepherd, Sari. God has sent me a shepherd to guide me back onto my journey of faith. In 2020, near Christmas, Vietnam House Church was kind enough to open the house, and Sari invited me to go. I remember that day particularly well because it was a very fun and warm memory for me. I was invited by Sari just 3 hours before the event had started and got convinced to go because the meal was Korean barbecue and I was really craving it. I arrived at Richard's house and messaged Sari, but then Jumo creeps up behind me and asks if I was Emily. Then Sari comes out and we both go in together, and everyone in the house church enthusiastically cheered my name and welcomed me. It was a very flattering moment, but a little creepy that in a house full of people who knew my name, I didn't know anyone. Everyone was very kind and caring and looked after me very well during my visits, so well that I never felt out of place. It was and still is a very fun and friendly and safe place where I can let go of my worries and confide in others without fear of judgment and be supported by them and encouraged as well. Then the first time I came to this church was when Sari became a shepherd. I remember after church, Sophia came up to ask me if I would still continue going to church. Back then, without hesitation, I straight up answered no. During that time, I was still going to church for the social aspect of it because I liked the environment and the people there. I didn't know if it was just a phase in my life or if it was something that was going to be part of it. And I also wasn't sure that it was something I wanted to join or do. But I'm glad I was wrong about that. Later, sometime during lockdown, I had gotten inspired by my fellow house church members' dedication and faith towards God and wanted to join them as well. I had chosen for myself to follow God, and with the guidance of my fellow house church members, I got my own Bible. At first, when it had arrived, it just stayed on my bedside table untouched for about a week. But then one day I had a lot of free time and decided to try reading the Bible and got really into it. The more I read the Bible and the more I spent time with my house church members, the more I got curious about God. And thanks to God's guidance and wisdom, I was able to attend Bible study where I got clarity and answers to tiny questions that I had thought of over time. I am very glad I got the opportunity to attend Bible study because thanks to it, I got to learn more about God, spend time with church members outside of my house church, eat Rebecca Lee's and Junior Pastor Hannah's cooking, and hear about Pastor Choi's love life. I am constantly motivated, encouraged, and inspired by everyone here through your words and actions, and I'm very glad and thankful that God has guided me to this church and to the people He has brought into my life. I can't say for sure that I have met God yet, but I'm very excited for the day I do meet Him. Thank you for listening.